A lot of people have what's called a niche in your family room or living room. And if I'm saying niche, you probably already know, yes, I have a niche. And they want to put in a floating box shelf. I'm going to teach you a really easy way of doing this. It's pretty fast and you can make them kind of any size you want. So the first thing you're going to need when you do this is you're going to have a cleat on your wall so that you have something to mount to, because you can't just mount them to your drywall. So we have the back part of our cleat and we have two sides. So the first thing you need to do is go measure your niche to see how wide it is. Then you're going to cut your 2x4 to that width, but you're going to take off 3 inches. The reason you're taking off 3 inches is you need enough space on either side for your cleats, left and right. 2x4s are 1.5 inches wide, so you've got 3 inches that you need to reduce. So cut your back one 3 inches shorter than the width of your niche, and then you have your two sides that you're going to cut as well. You can go test fit these first. I would advise that actually because sometimes walls aren't straight. You might need to make your back cleat a little bit narrower. Now, to determine the length of your side cleats, that's determined by your board that you purchased. So I purchased a fairly wide board at Austin Hardwoods because we wanted to have a wide shelf for this project. So it's really simple. You're just going to cut your side cleat the same height as this board. You're going to have a board for your top and your bottom, and they will need to be cut to length, but you're just simply going to cut these to the same length as you measured your niche. And make sure you remember, if you had to adjust your width at all, adjust the width of the top and bottom board. Here's my top board. This is just a piece I had here in the shop, and it's got a lot of character. So you'll have a board for your top and a board for your bottom. And then the next thing you're going to need is a board for your front. Now you could figure this out ahead of time before you go purchase your boards so that you don't have to buy a board that you have to cut down. 2x4s are 3.5 inches wide. Each of your boards for top and bottom are going to need to be 3/4 of an inch wide. You could also use a 1/2 inch board, but 3/4 is usually standard. So if you just add 3/4 twice, which is 1.5 inches, to your 2x4 size, which is 3.5 inches, you have 5 inches. So that's going to be how wide your front board needs to be. It's okay if you buy a board that it turns out to be 5.5 inches, because what you can do is center it here, top and bottom, then you have a little edge so stuff doesn't fall off. Or if you want, make it flush to the top and have it overhang on the bottom just a little bit. They look great that way, but that eliminates you having to saw it on a table saw if you don't have one. I had another piece of wood that was here in the shop that's actually a little bit thicker than 3/4, left over from another project. And you can see my board is too wide for what we need. So what I'll do is I'll just simply take this one and put it on my table saw and cut it down to the right size. So you're going to want to sand and finish this first before you either put it in your niche or pre-assemble it. If you have the room, top and bottom, in your niche to get a drill and or a nail gun in there, you're going to want to actually assemble this in the niche itself. That's the easiest way to do it. If you have access to a table saw, you have the option of making this look like it's one solid beam by using 45-degree angles to make the box. First thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to cut down your side cleats by 3/4 of an inch, because that's going to be the thickness of your front board. So we'll do that first. Now that you've cut these down 3/4 of an inch, this will allow you to cut your top and your bottom both at 45-degree angles. So I'm just going to draw them on here. And then the same thing is going to happen with your center, your front, but it's going to have two 45-degree angles on it. There we go. We're determining where our first shelf is going to be, and this is the location. I checked, we have a stud in the corner, but we don't have another stud here. So if that's the case, you can still hang your shelves, but you're going to need to get what's called a toggle bolt. And this is what a toggle bolt looks like. This will go through your board. This will be on the back of your drywall. And when you tighten it up, it's going to make it so that you can have, on these guys, the working load on these is 95 pounds. So that's quite a bit for shelves, because that's 95 pounds per side. So we'll have one on each side. And we might find a stud over here too, so we'll have to check this side yet. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take the same drill bit that we drilled through the board with, and we're gonna go in and we're just gonna touch the wall. So we have a mark on the wall exactly where our toggle is gonna go. On the side of your box, it'll tell you how big you have to put a hole in the wall to get the toggle through. And in this case, it is a 1/2 inch. So we're gonna change to a 1/2 inch drill bit and drill the hole on the wall. The next thing you're gonna do is put your bolt through your board and then put your toggle piece on the back side. The other thing you wanna make sure you do is put it on just so the threads catch. Don't go any further than that. The reason is this thread exposed here when it's closed has to get past your drywall in order to be able to expand it. We found that our bolt was a little too short, so I countersunk it here so that the bolt could go into the board a little bit more so it could catch. Now I've got a level, and you're gonna apply some negative pressure. So you're gonna pull out on your board as you're tightening, which seems counterintuitive, but that keeps your little toggle from spinning inside while you're tightening it. And then you can adjust level and finish up tightening it. I'm gonna put just a couple nails in to hold it, but then we're gonna screw it to draw it tight into the boards. Okay, so you're gonna fit your front on, and it's usually tight, and then we're just gonna nail it in place.